Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host. So viewers, it has been a fantastic day in Trinidad and Tobago today. Nevertheless, we give God thanks for opening our eyes this morning and seeing today. Even though they may be killing, they may be raping, there may be larceny of vehicles, home invasion, accidents, we still give God thanks for today. So as we start our program tonight, viewers, the interreligious organization head, Pundit Lloyd Sergio, has stated that the election date of April 28 and the resulting campaign period are disrespectful to the three major religions whose reflection period fall within that period. Christians are currently observing Lent, which ends on April 17th, with Easter Monday on April 21st. Muslims are observing Ramadan, which ends on March 31st, give or take. Spiritual Shouters Baptist Day is celebrated on March 3rd, 30th. Sergio said, these days are important to the people who observe them. Christian Pereira said, the calling of election was more or less expected. ASHRA Acting President General Imam Ahmad Hussein said the campaign would not affect its member in any way. He said the police should be on hand to stave off any wayward behavior. The campaign period also falls within the state of emergency. Now, while leaders of the National Transformation Alliance, NTA, Gary Griffith urged citizens to remain united regardless of the outcome of the election. He said that his party anticipated the April 28th election day and has been preparing accordingly. Listen to this.
Regardless of your political affiliation or the parties that you support, please understand there is going to be a day called April the 29th. And that day, regardless of what, there's going to be one prime minister, one government, but we will all be citizens of this great country. So I ask us, let us not be influenced by other political parties or politicians to cause hate, bitterness, and division.
Now viewers, switching gears. The United States has stated that there is no list of a draft travel ban after some Caribbean community in CARICOM countries had publicly called on Washington to confirm or deny such a list existed. However, U.S. Department of State spokesperson Tammy Bruce, there is a review through the President Executive Order to look at the nature of what's going on to help keep America safe when dealing with the issue of visa and who's allowed into the country. Over the last weekend, there were also reports that 6 Caribbean countries, namely St. Lucia, Antigua, and Dominica, St. Kitts, St. Nevis, Cuba, and Haiti, and others, have been included in a proposed list of countries facing potential travel restrictions under the Trump administration. The government of the other Caribbean countries also expressed similar concerns, with it saying that it had received no official communication from the U.S. Recently, Dr. Keith Rowley came out in defense of Trinidad and Tobago sovereignty following recent threat of the U.S. visa restriction announced by Trump against government utilizing Cuba overseas medical mission. The program, which has been vital to healthcare system across the region for decades, have been described in a report by Trump administration as constituting forced labor and a form of human trafficking. Dr. Rowley said he was willing to surrender further trips to the U.S. in an effort to ensure Trinidad and Tobago positions is not taken lightly. Listen to this.
telling us something else. We rely a lot for our healthcare delivery on certain specialists who over the decades we have obtained from India, from the Philippines, sometimes from Africa, and mainly from Cuba. Out of the blue now we are being called human traffickers because we hire technical people who we pay top dollar equal to local rates, but we are now being accused of taking part in a program where people are being exploited. That's somebody's interpretation. And of course, there are local people here encouraging them to take away our US visas. Today, I just came back from California. And if I never there again in my life, I will ensure that the sovereignty of Trinidad and Tobago is known to its people and respected by all.
Now, viewers, Prime Minister Stuart Young also addressed concerns over recent U.S. foreign policies directive, emphasizing that the government remain in active discussion. He suggested that the policies may not specifically target CARICOM nationals. The PM said he will fight for Trinidad and Tobago and continue to protect our country. Listen to this.
From Cuba, do you share the same sentiment?
Well, first of all, let me say we are engaged in conversation with officials from the United States. The latest information that was provided to me is what that was a release, and what was certain language use with respect to Cuban medical professionals, etc. It is very possible that that is not directed at us here in the CARICOM region. But yes, as I said yesterday very clearly, I will fight for Trinidad and Tobago, and I will continue to do so. I will protect Trinidad and Tobago's sovereignty, but I don't think it will end up in the state that you've just proposed, and we are going to continue to work with them. But the signals we're getting is that they're not going to go that far with the CARICOM. All right? Thank you.
So now, viewers, when asked if he would be willing to have his U.S. visa revoked in protest, similar to Barbados Prime Minister Mayor Motley stands in defense of Cuba medical program, Young declined to comment. If you decline to comment, which means, you know what? Nah, my visa worth more than this. Yeah? My visa worth more than this. But nevertheless, switching gears, Prime Minister Stuart Young is leading the charge to reverse the visa imposition placed on TNT by the United Kingdom. Young stated that he was already in talks with the UK government and already had virtual meetings with one of UK ministers. Young said he will fight for Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to this.
We have already engaged the UK government with the people here. Also, at least one of their government ministers. I've already had a meeting with that government minister virtually. I've made certain requests, and yes, that is one of the areas I will fight for Trinidad and Tobago in every way possible to build a better Trinidad and Tobago from the strong foundation that we have.
All nationals of TNT are now required to have a visa to enter the UK, including for a short visit. The decision, made public on March 12th, comes in response to what the UK government described as a significant increase in TNT nationals arriving as visitors and then claiming asylum. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, what I don't understand is that in 2014, we have it? In 2014, Faris Al-Rawi knew about this. The United Kingdom is about to impose a visa restriction on Trinidad and Tobago citizens entering that jurisdiction. Since 2014, Faris Al-Rawi knew about this. So if Faris could have known this, don't you think ministers would have known this also. Come back to me. Trinidad and Tobago, if Faris knew this back then in 2014, don't you think other ministers will know it also? I'm surprised now. Why are you surprised? Faris is a minister of the government. He knew it back in 2014. So which means all the other ministers would have insights when they all gather in all the table and all they're talking. But nevertheless, I'll play a surprise. One thing, silent, stupid, and I ain't acting as if I surprise. Now, Trinidad and Tobago. The intervention of Dr. Keith Rowley said the country should withdraw from the Privy Council in response to the imposition. So now, look at this, United Kingdom decide, you know what? Too much of citizens coming from Trinidad. When you enter our port of entry, you're saying you're a visitor. But when you go further, you're saying you're seeking asylum. You're seeking asylum. And when they do the background checks, it's criminals running from Trinidad into the UK. Port of entry is a visitor. And as you go beyond port of entry, you're seeking asylum. So the people, when they look at that now, they must say, you know what? This needs to stop. This needs to stop. Now, ladies, similar now, when Imbert now, and Imbert sent his team to the Privy Council with Jayawanti Ramdas. Well, ladies, similar said, Imbert should be investigated. So after that whole situation now, Rowley say now, we separate ourselves now from the Privy Council. Because what? They're protecting their country. What are we doing to protect our country? The UK is taking stands to protect their country from criminals from Trinidad entering their country. What are we doing to our country to protect it? You want to pull back from Privy Council, you want to stop this, you want to stop that, you want to stop the next. But what are we building to protect our country? Former Minister of National Security we had. And where are all the Coast Guard vessels? Back up. Rowley also called on the British government to review its unfair, unjust, disgraceful decision. Listen to Focus, all.
But what really rots my gut is that I have to also swallow that the highest court of this land is in London at the Privy Council. And if you want to go to the Privy Council, you have to go there by way of some arrangements that they make for you. Do you really feel independent? Where your highest court is in a foreign country and the foreign country leaders would put on the arrangements by which you could come to that country? Either your lawyers have to provide proof that you are so-and-so, or they turn down your visa request. And that is your highest access to legal support as a nation. Well, if you all didn't know that we should get out of the Privy Council and get to the Caribbean Court of Justice, this treatment by the British government should let all of you know how they view us. And if you believe that they have come around to thinking that we are equals, you have another thought coming. Many of them still believe that we are substandard, we are inferior, and they should treat us as they want to treat us. Today I want to call on our friends in the United Kingdom to review that unjust action against the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Mouth they say anything, but you see, coming into action to defend a country, there is where the real ministers stand up. We as Trinidadians and Tobagonians have to get a visa to enter the United States. When we have gather our documents, go to the embassy in Trinidad, Marley Street, pay our fee. When you go now, stamp here. Try back in 3 months. Try back in 6 months. What are we going to do? So because the UK decide to say, you know what? Visa restrictions for certain countries. We vex for that. We vex for that. Why we don't get vexed with the United States? Why we don't get vexed with them? Because they have a visa policy. Why we don't get vexed with them? Why the ministers in Trinidad don't get vexed with the US government? Because you had to get a visa to enter the country. I don't want to talk brag. But what are we doing to fix our own country? What are we doing to fix our own country? Let's say something now. Some minister all jump up and bump all the gum now. You can't do that. You can't do that. Nobody less. Switching gears. Dan Paul, the new Minister of Finance, also said visa requirements came as a surprise to his office. And he further denied any prior communication from UK authorities regarding the TNT nationals seeking refuge, stating that while discussions took place in London, the UK's Home Office only provides general statistics without specific detail. Imagine, he didn't even know that. That was a shock to everybody. But he said it, the ministers of their country defending their country. You cannot vex with the people and them. It doesn't matter how much you bump all the government in Trinidad. It doesn't matter. Because we ain't doing nothing to fix our own self down here. We're vexed because of our next country? Nah. Listen to this.
Well, I'm not a lawyer, but we are an independent Republican state, right? And there's no need for us to be at the Privy Council. That's my opinion as a lay person. I'm not a lawyer. Some lawyers may feel quite differently.
So you said we were ambushed with that. Do you think that will impact the relationship between Trinidad and the UK? Could there be any trust?
Well, I don't want to respond to that in any negative way because we are a sovereign state. The UK, we can't tell the UK how to run their business. Okay, obviously, but it's disappointing. To me personally, it was very disappointing because, as I said and I repeat, we were ambushed.
He disappointed. What did them do to make sure Petrotrin refinery didn't shut down? Ask him what he did. Was he at the negotiating board? Have it for later. You know. In the coming days, all I can hear about the new ministers sworn in, you know. All I can hear about them. What did he did? As a negotiator. Have it for them. All I hold on. All I can get in the weeks coming. So Trinidad and Tobago is a public concern I want to raise to you. Let me let me just close off this. Trinidad and Tobago, last night, I was passing through the bird sanctuary. Me and my boy Navin. So hear this. We headed north, right? And you're cutting off now to go by the bird sanctuary side. But we're not going into the bird sanctuary, right? We're cutting off on the street on the left. You're making the big U-turn and you're coming back on top the flyover to head Caroni side. Take a look at this. Look at this. So we now swing off the highway. We take off the lights in the vehicle and you all could see the place. Total darkness. No street light. Run it back from the beginning. No street light, viewers. We taking off the headlights. Look at the place. Look at that. No street light in the area. And this road will take you to the flyover to go to Caroni side, Caroni license office, by the creek. On that area. Heading back to the airport. Imagine, look at that now, look at that. Who is in charge of street lights? Who is in charge of street light? Can we get some street light on that street? That is street that is heading to the flyover to go Caroni side. No lights. Can something be done about it? So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but stay locked on. Hear what? Call your friends, call your family. Tell them the interview that we're going to have right now is about the policeman who demanded a bribe from a barman. After this.
We'll be right back.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Life throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Realtalk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Realtalk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Realtalk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Realtalk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over, with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
At Realtalk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to Real Talk viewers. Call good night. Hello?
Hello?
You hear me clearly?
Hello?
Yes, nice. You hear me clearly. Now, I'm not going to call your name on television because of safety concerns, right? Now, tell us the incident that happened to you.
All right, Mr. Ali. Well, I was operating a bar in Barakpo. Right, and was approached by a police officer asking for a certain amount of money for the month to continue running for the Chinese to continue running their machine at my business.
Tell the public the amount of money the officer wanted.
He wanted 3,000 every month.
All right. Was this officer by himself or there were other officers also?
There was other officers also. There was four of them in that jeep.
4 men?
Yeah,
All right.
including a WPC with a Rastafarian hairstyle.
Rastafarian hairstyle.
Yeah.
All right, nice. Continue from there now. Tell us what took place.
Right. So I told them, I said, listen, if it is that you know, when you all pass through, you want something to drink or something to eat, that is not a problem. I said, that 3,000 a month ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So after that, they left. Right? A few days after, which was the Sunday after that,
mm-hmm.
I was stopped by the same officers around 5:30 in the evening.
The same set of officers?
Same set of officers.
Right. Tell us what happened.
They stopped me, and the WPC shouting out, "Daisy man, Daisy man."
Mm-hmm.
And when I stopped, they said that like, you're having a good time, boss man. So I say I don't understand what you're saying. I just close up my business on my way to drop my worker.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna pick up my wife.
Right.
So the said officer that asked for the money, he said, well, switch off your vehicle now. Would you object to a breathalyzer?
Okay,
so I said, no, that is not a problem, because I know that to myself.
You didn't drink?
I didn't drink,
right.
you know.
So you complied with them?
Yeah, so they asked me to step out of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
I did that. I was drinking a Red Bull. They asked me to stop drinking the Red Bull, to leave it in the vehicle. So I put back the Red Bull in the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And they called a second jeep.
All right. To back up, more or less, as we see.
Yeah, with 4 other officers came.
Right.
And they apparently at that point in time they want to make it look like they're doing a road check now.
Okay.
Right, and well, the officer administered the breathalyzer on me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, you lock up. I said just like that.
So you did a breathalyzer, and they say you lock up because you're drinking a Red Bull.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he say you have anybody to drive this vehicle? So I said, listen, just give me a minute. So I called someone
mm-hmm.
to collect the vehicle. Right. I said, but if all that show that I drunk and I drinking
mm-hmm.
and driving, when we reach to the station, I want to let a breathalyze me there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I demanded them to breathalyze me at the station, and they refused. They said no.
Okay.
Right? So they take me back to the station.
Mm-hmm.
They did the paperwork, and think one of the other officers, they asked me, do you have a JP? So I said no. He said, all right, well, no problem. We go organize one fair.
Mm-hmm.
So then when about hour and something after, when they come and he said, well, the same officer telling me, he said, that will cost you $2,000 now for the JP, and then you got to face magistrate.
All right. What happened next?
So, well, I end up calling a family member of mine, and we paid the money, and I left. And after that,
you went to court?
I faced the magistrate a month after, which was the 23rd of May.
All right. Tell us what happened in the court now.
When I reached the court and the case, there was no paperwork concerning me there. My attorney asked, well, if it is my client has a charge paper in front, I have a charge paper stating that my client was charged, and this is today's court date.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no paperwork in the court stating that I was charged.
All right, so there's no, the police officer, the officer did not forward no papers to the court, correct?
No, yes, he did not submit any documents to the court, no.
All right, was the magistrate reading out the wrong charges to you?
At that point in time, the magistrate didn't read out anything, because there was no paperwork. There was no paperwork for you to read.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But the said evening, they stand on the matter, and my lawyer told me that he will follow it up, and he will get back to me.
All right.
But that said evening, the same officer came back to my bar.
Okay.
And he asked me, he said, what it is going on, what it is went on with the case. So I said, well, there was no paperwork. He said, yeah, I know that I know there was no paperwork because I didn't submit anything because I know, partner, I know you wasn't drunk.
All right. Pause right there.
Yeah.
You close up your business place and you're going home, right? And they stop you, the same set of officers.
Yeah.
You was drinking a Red Bull, correct?
A Red Bull, yes.
Right. So they did a breathalyzer test on you and they say you lock up.
Yeah.
They carry you down to the station. You
Right.
spend some time in the station. It costs you $2,000 to get a lawyer. You demanded a second breathalyzer test and they failed to do it.
Yeah, they said no, they cannot do another test on me.
Why? Did they give a reason?
Yes, they didn't give me any results at that point in time. But they had a chip.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding now. So you're facing the magistrate. The officer who charged you did not submit no documents to the court.
No, he didn't.
Nice. But they demanded money from you, and because you decided not to pay them no money, this incident took place with you.
Yes. Well, that is exactly what it boiled down to.
Right. Tell us now about your driver's permit and the magistrate. Tell us about that.
All right. Well, after my lawyer did his due diligence or so, he called me back and he said, Vishnu, well, sorry, going back now to the said evening when the police came and he asked me what was going on with the with the case. So I told him, I said, well, I hire a lawyer to represent me, so my lawyer will deal with that.
Right.
So the police had to get arrogant now. He said, like, why it is you take a lawyer? You're supposed to just leave that there and the magistrate will throw it out. I say, well, how you want me to know that I go in there not knowing what I'm going to meet?
Correct.
Right? So he said, well, all right, and he leave and he walk out.
Okay.
6:30 the next morning, he telling me now to go to San Fernando Magistrates Court because he going and submit the paperwork
The
now.
document.
So,
Okay. Tell us what happened again.
yeah, so he did what he said he going to do. He went and he do his paperwork and he submitted to the court, and my lawyer asked for an adjournment to the next Tuesday, which would have been the 28th of May last year. Yeah, and when I faced the magistrate, then the magistrate, she charged me $5,000 and she took away my license for 3 years.
Wow. So Trinidad and Tobago, all are listening? I hope all are listening, because of the fact that he refused to pay a bribe to a Trinidad and Tobago police officer who getting a salary at the end of 30 days. This is the outcome of this individual. Now, tell us when your license was suspended, now tell us what happened.
Well, when the license was suspended, my lawyer told me, he said, listen, I will, within 6 months' time, I would be able to apply back.
And get back your license for you.
Yeah. So I said, all right, no problem. So I continued running my business, something which was very, very, very hard. Because I had also pay for everything now to go get my goods, to go and do errands and things for the business, right? Even
you have to pay a driver.
At the point in time, my wife, she was pregnant, so to go to hospitals and things, everything, it started to become a burden on me. It started to frustrate me, After the 6 months was coming up, I applied for myself to the court for my license to be restored.
Right.
Because at that point in time, I couldn't pay a lawyer because I was down and out. I didn't have no money.
You had to shut down your business and stuff.
Yeah, I lost the business because I couldn't continue paying rent.
Right.
Right. So after that, the magistrate, when the case called and thing, they recommend that that I go to the AA program and seek some sort of rehabilitation and thing, and then come back in December and she would give the license, right?
Did you get back your license?
Pardon?
Did you get back your license after the AA round?
No. I didn't.
Tell us what happened. Tell us why the magistrate told you to go again.
Well, after the AA, and the one case call again, she said that you need to go and see these probation officer. After I did that, they send me to anger management. After the anger management, which the last time I saw her was the 14th of February, the 14th of March, sorry, right? Now she saying that the AA and all these things is irrelevant. That I need to go to a drug rehabilitation center because all these other avenues, the court would not have the court wouldn't have
a report.
A whole, wouldn't have wouldn't be able to monitor me. That's what she said. Yeah. Yeah, and up to now, they haven't given me back my permit, and I'm unemployed. I know going from being a businessman, I mean not big businessman, a small businessman, and to having nothing at this point in time is really hard and it's really frustrating on me.
All right. So all this happened because of the officer demanded a bribe from you and you refused to pay him.
Yes, that is what, Mr. Ali, that is what it boiling down to.
My friend, thank you so much for sharing with it in the public domain.
What's that?
Thank you so much for sharing with it, sharing your issue with the public. Trinidad and Tobago. Let's hear what went on. Let's hear what went on. A corporal demanded a bribe. A corporal in the South District is a police post corporal. How you call that day-based stretch? That police post. How you call long day? Lal Bihari Junction. The officer works at that station. Lal Bihari Trace, there's a police post. Lal Bihari Trace and Debe Main Road. There's a police post there. The officer works at that station. Now I get to understand that there's a lot of bars in the Barapur Debe Penal area that have been targeted for bribe. And when you don't pay your bribe, they do what they have to do. Now, I want to say this boldly without any fear or fright or anything within me. Because I ain't afraid nothing. If I had afraid somebody or something, I would not be here 8 years on my platform. So I want to ask these officers and them. This is Jeep loader officers. If some gangster, I say this without fear or any remorse, if some gangster in Trinidad decides to bully all you, those four fellas, if a drug man or a gangster in Trinidad decides to bully all you, and all you have to pay $15,000 or $20,000 to that gangster every month end, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm asking all you. You see, Trinidad and Tobago, police officers, not all, some police officers using their work to bully people. To bully people. Because of the fact that they are police. You want to take advantage of citizens. Now, this was a businessman you all just heard. A businessman. Because of being bullied by a police corporal, that he's not going to be intimidated and he's not going to pay no bribe. Today he have no wife. His business closed down and he's unemployed. You just heard that. You just heard that. So I want to ask the corporal now, if this gentleman decides, well, in Trinidad, everybody know we could get a gun on the corner. Right? This is reality in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm talking. If this individual who is frustrated, you lost your driver's permit, you can't drive your vehicle, you had to shut down your business. Understand? If this man decides to pick up a gun on a corner, what's going to happen to this corporal? What's going to happen to that jeep load of police officers? Because mentally you're frustrated. Your wife leave you. Just now you had to go and pay maintenance in the court. Right? You don't have your driver's permit. You had to shut down your business. What's going to happen to this corporal and those 4 policemen? If this individual decides to run amok, what's going to happen? I'm asking all at Trinidad and Tobago, what's going to happen? You see, some people, they take it for granted. Some police officer feel that they make out of iron. Some police officer feel that bullet can penetrate them, that nobody can do them nothing. They're on top of the law. So I'm asking this question on national television because it was a real issue all I just heard. Paula, good night.
Yes, Brill.
Hello. Take care, Gary. Click one time. Trinidad and Tobago, how are we going to deal with this now? If that individual decides to run amok, there is 4 dead police in Trinidad and Tobago. And on top of this now, citizens of the country will say that some gangster kill 4 police. And not a gangster. It's an individual get frustrated. Your business shut down. You lost your permit. Your wife leave you. What's going to happen to these 4 officers? They feel it's a joke. You understand? But I wonder if these officers has family. Jacob, you have family? I'm asking you, do you have a family? Let me tell you something, trying to me afraid police, you know. You know why? I just stay within the law. No police can come and intimidate me. All I want is your name, your picture, and a date of birth. And a black rooster. That's all I need. That is all Saieed needs. When I heard this story yesterday, I said, nah. The public, I don't know what went on. All because of one stinking corporal named Jacob. I know all of your name. I did my research in a daytime. Paula, good night.
Good evening, Saieed.
Go right ahead.
With the magistrate, now you're dealing with the police, but how does it go to the magistrate and the magistrate does not hear the man's case properly and sending him to all of these different entities of...
Now, Paula, I will tell you something. I'll tell you something. You see, from the time you go and face a magistrate, driving drunk, nobody doesn't want to hear nothing.
But the man said he wasn't driving drunk. The man said he wasn't driving drunk.
He couldn't. The man had to hire somebody. The man renting a bar, you know. When you're renting listen, caller.
But did they do a breathalyzer test there then?
The man went before the magistrate. The police never submit no documents. When the
But
police asked him,
did they do a breathalyzer test on him? How could they say he was drunk?
caller, if you follow how the man relayed the story, when they stopped the vehicle, they issued a breathalyzer test and they told the man he lock up. And they carried him down to the police post. And next thing you know, a JP had to come now. Next thing he end up in front of the magistrate. And from the time the magistrate see that, I said, hey, them nobody want to hear nothing. The magistrate don't want to hear nothing. No prosecution don't want to hear nothing. They catch you driving drunk. The man drink a Red Bull and he get charged. The man lost his license for a Red Bull. Serious, officers? Serious? Because you ain't got bloody hell $3,000 bribe. That is when you cause a family to break up. A businessman to shut down his business. Just now the man got to pay maintenance because he have a child. How he doing that? Oh, you are just heard the man have a job. So let me tell you something. I just do spirit work, right? And if nobody come by me to do spirit work, how I going to survive? How I going to survive? Tell me. I throw that for you to understand. I throw that for you to understand. Hey, I just say thank God. Me a begging nobody for $1 to run this program, you know. That's why I just thank God, and that's why it's going like this on national television. You go tell me a policeman demand a bribe, and because you ain't get that bribe, all this happened. The man business shut down. He lost his driver's permit. He lost his wife because he can't maintain them. And up to this present time, the man can't get a work. And the country done hard. And on top of this, you might have to pay maintenance just now. Because of one stinking police officer. One stinking police officer. You lead a man. All this scenario happened. If this one individual with frustration hitting him because he had no work, right? Decides to get a gun on a corner, what's going to happen with a policeman and the rest of them who was in that group? All I call in 2386716. I want to hear what you have to say. What you think going on? Hey, they are no fancy story, you know. This is a real issue, you know. Yesterday I faced me guy with tears dropping down your eye, you know. You know what is to lost your wife and a newborn baby, and then your business shut down, and then you can't drive? Knowing you're a businessman? How are you going to deal with that? How are you going to deal with frustration? Knowing just now she might carry you in court for maintenance for the child. All because of what? A stinking bribe? Demanded by a police who gets in a pay every 30 days? Why the mother in hell you become a policeman? Why? Paula, good night.
Good night. Saeed?
Go right ahead, you're live.
Boy, this is to show you, I'm telling you, the judiciary in Trinidad and Tobago, you understand what a poor man does see? If your name ain't Sabga or Abood, or you ain't have that title, when you reach in front of a magistrate, even though you are innocent, which is supposed to be innocent till proven guilty,
why this
you
real,
guilty,
why?
them don't hear you, don't hear nothing.
Thank you, my
You
friend.
see what go on?
Thank you, my friend. Imagine that, eh? The police know what he did. Know what he did. Trinidad and Tobago, what do you think about this? What if a policeman do all that, what are doing? That's why I asked the question tonight. We have gangsters in Trinidad and Tobago. Everybody know that. From the commissioner to the minister of national security to the security council to every living human being in Trinidad and Tobago, we know gangs exist in this country. We know killers exist in this country. We know rapists exist in this country. And if by chance some criminal decides to target police now, Because our police doing innocent people, what gonna happen to these police? How much of them gonna get killed? How much of them gonna fly out of Trinidad? Eh? I remember Soklal who got my ticket. Imagine, Price Plaza, 2-lane heading north. 2 bloody hell lane heading north. But Soklal looked to give me a ticket for overtaking on the left. And next, Duncy had police. And the corporal with him, acting Corporal Nanlal. But let me tell you something. You see all that so? You see a man like me who does this spirit walk? Let me tell you something. All you bunk to catch all the nene in this country. Take what I telling all you. I tell all of that. You know why I tell all of that? You know who's an example? Terrence Diaz is an example for Trinidad and Tobago. Don't play with Saieed. Don't play with Saieed. I tell Terrence, I say the next accident you get in, you might survive, you know. Be careful what you're saying about me. And never hear him say nothing again. I don't think I come here by guess. Or you think I bring in issues by guess? All because of that police. This individual had to go through this. And I heard a good few bar on the day-based stretch. It's the same scenario. Paula, good night. Hello?
Yes, right.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Saeed, concerning that topic you're talking about, right? Let me tell you something, right? Straight up. You see when police want to give a case, you have it real hard. Just like telling you, when you see them fellas want to sink you for something, you have it real hard. And I telling you, see how the last caller said, let me tell you something. Justice in Trinidad and Tobago, it depends on how much money you have to spend. That is the amount of justice you're going to get in this country. I can tell you that. You have no money, you get no justice in this country. I can tell you that. That's why the poor man they just go towards doing everything illegal. They just turn to getting justice on their own because the courts don't work for poor people in this country. But I can tell you that. I pass through the court system and I can tell you that. And let me tell you something, this whole police service thing, it starts from the come straight down. I can tell you that. Because I had a firearm case, and I can tell you, I went up against the commission because she had to pay my legal fees and whatever and thing. It didn't turn out in my favor. I can tell you straight up. You see the police, when you see you carry them to court and you win your case, everything is turned against your partner. I can tell you that. And I feel it for that man who going through all of that because he's an innocent man who just had to fall into a trap. And then police and have a real stink to do the man that. What are they doing that for? Because they're greedy? Or they can't go there and work for the thing? Or they have to go and extort people to get money? I don't understand that. And where the acting commissioner is, he getting this one. I'm sure the police does know everything that's going on. And yet still, they doesn't want to do anything about the situation. All them, they just turn a blind eye because everybody's in our food. Tell me if I lie.
That's true. Thank you, my friend. Trinidad and Tobago, it's easy, you know. You see what a policeman calls? A businessman, the bar had to shut down. You lost your driver's license till today. Right? After he went through all the rehabilitation center, the court still grant the man the license. Because of what? A stinking $3,000 bribe? But you should get an accident and lost your 2 hands and end up like a beggar on the streets. They're quite telling all you. Let me tell you something, it have good police and it has stink police, you know. That's why they tell them, come wrong me, blood dropping through your nose, you know. Me are taking that, you know. So Clark feel he got away. Let me tell you something. I'm not the kind of man where they say you go and pay somebody to deal with somebody. No. I go by Black Crusade, I go deal with it how I know how to deal with it. Why? Because I just do spirit clock. While you sleeping in the night, something watching you. That's the kind of work I just do. That's why I like this on national television. Hear this now. When they come after my son, you feel it's just so? You feel it's just so? Because of the fact that I'm on TV, you know. But I didn't know the extent of my work. How could I do? 3 blind, 1 dead. And I just tell anybody, I'll come among my 2 sons. And I will not hesitate as long as I live to do the same thing again. Caller, good night.
Hi, good night.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Saeed, first thing first, I think that the guy should continue pursuing the matter by filing a
action with the police complaints authority. That's one. Two, his lawyers should write to the Chief Justice with regards to the magistrate and the outcome of this issue. That's two. The third issue is, earlier on you was talking about Rowley saying we must get rid of the Privy Council. More than that, I just read on the Newsday that the Attorney General was given an appointment as a judge. Our previous Attorney General was given an appointment as a judge on the CCJ. And I would like you to question the Regional Judicial Legal Services Commission to find out what was the criteria they used to appoint Regional Armour, right, as a judge to the CCJ, given that he was the holder of a political office here in Trinidad and Tobago. And what is the agenda now with Rowley, given that his political appointee is now sitting on the CCJ? That's the big issue we should be talking about.
Don't worry, my friend, in time we will deal with all these things. Thank you so much. But Trinidad and Tobago, I'm going to tell you something, The man tell the officers them, hear this now. I ain't pay no bribe, but if all want to pass across, all from the area, no problem. All I get something to eat, all I get something to drink, I give it back to the community now. You know, something from my pocket. I had to pay for it, but all I can pass and get a little food, a little drink while all on the job. All I want that. All I want money. That should have happened to me. I tell you that you all know so. All I hang up in some corner bawling with pain. Because something slapping all you, something choking all you. You see, when I hear things like these, it doesn't settle good. My spirit is start to be active, it is want to walk. Tap the rack of the director. Trinidad and Tobago. That was real talk. That is the issue that an individual is facing, all because of a policeman was bribed from the south. All ain't bad, you know, and all ain't good. So until we meet again, good night.